I never started out as a reader, but there are tons of books that I want to read. And so I realized that there's no other way for me to be able to do so than by making reading a daily habit. Grabbing a book and reading a page is easy, but what's difficult is to do it daily. And this book became my personal guide in making it possible. I have been reading daily for more than a year now, and here's how I was able to do it. Atomic Habits by James Clear is an easy and proven way to effectively build good habits. I have always considered myself a goal getter. I believe that having a goal was enough, but it turns out it isn't. Because you must also have clarity of the process on how to get them. Thus, you need a system. So if you're having trouble achieving your goals, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Let's first check on our goal. Is your goal is to read a chapter a day? This falls under the first category of behavior change, which is changing the outcome. According to the book, there are three layers of behavior change, namely outcomes, processes, and identity. Many of us begin the process of changing by focusing on what we want to achieve, which leads to outcome based habits. The book, on the other hand, encourages us to build identity based habits or focusing on who we wish to become. The identity change begins with simple two-step process. First is decide the type of person you want to be. And second is to prove it to yourself with small wins repeatedly. In my case, I want to be a reader. Basically, a reader is just a person with a habit of reading. And a habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. Let's define habit. Habit is a routine or practice performed regularly and an automatic response to a specific situation. This is the reason why it is important to form habits because they make our lives easier. The truth is, our brains are wired to do what is easy and what is automatic, to leave as much possible tasks under the unconscious side of the brain to perform. Imagine if you must always consciously think about how to drive after learning it. The good thing is, science have continuously proven that habits can be formed. In the book, the author discussed the habit loop, or just a simple way to break down how habits are formed. The habit loop has four stages, and they are cue, craving, response, and reward. The four stages of habit are best described as a feedback loop. They form an endless cycle that is running every moment you are alive. This habit loop is continually scanning the environment, predicting what will happen next, trying out different responses, and learning from the results. There are four laws of behavior change that are simple set of rules that we can use to build better habits. The first law, you have to make it obvious. The common mistake we do whenever we set our to-do lists or goals is the clarity of when exactly during the day and where are we going to perform the task or habit that we want to form. One tip that I found useful is called habit stacking, or assigning the habits we wish to form together with an existing habit that we already do. For an example, instead of I will read a book per month, you can say I will read a chapter of a book in my room before going to bed. Alongside making the cue obvious, like placing a book on your bedside table, you must also make your bad habits invisible. Best example is setting aside your mobile phone whenever you want to focus on reading. Do not rely solely on your self control because it's only a short term solution. It is making the cues of your good habits obvious and the cues of your bad habits invisible. Second law, you have to make it attractive. Do you know that most of our habits are formed out of social conformity? It is human nature to fit in, to desire acceptance, and to be part of something. Joining a group or community like Bookstagram or a book club is helpful to keep the habit of reading. If a habit can get us approval, respect, and praise, we find it attractive. Third law, You have to make it easy.
Our energy is precious, and the brain is wired to conserve it whenever possible. It is human nature to follow the law of least effort. If you would look at any behavior that fills up much of your life, you will see that it can be performed with very low levels of motivation, like scrolling our phones, checking emails, and watching. They all can be performed almost without any effort. They are convenient. Reading does not fall on this scale, but we can make it more convenient and easy according to our lifestyle by reducing the friction of doing so. One of the most effective ways is to practice environment design, like allocating a designated place for reading that will set your mood into it, or by always keeping a book or your Kindle inside your bag so you will not forget it at home. If you would look at the task of reading a whole book, it is indeed difficult. The idea is to make the habit as easy as possible. So, you may reframe it to just reading one page. And this will kickstart the habit, which you can later on improve to a chapter or more. Standardize before you optimize. You cannot improve a habit that doesn't exist. Fourth law.
You have to make it satisfying.
Making progress is satisfying together with visual measures. As a result, they reinforce your behavior and adds a little bit of immediate satisfaction that will increase the odds that the habit will be repeated again next time. A practical tip is to do habit tracking. The tracking becomes its own form of reward. It is satisfying to cross out a day or tick off an item from your to-do list. Another technique is assigning an accountability partner. Knowing that someone else is watching you is a powerful motivator who can also create an immediate cost to inaction. To sum it up, becoming a reader is intentional. It requires a system of habits to be obvious, attractive, and easy to make reading a satisfying part of your lifestyle.
Thank you for being here and watching this video. Subscribe for more. And don't forget to follow me in my socials at onechapteraday.ph in Instagram and at onechapteradayph in TikTok. And Happy New Year!